There we go. All right. Okay. Hey, everyone. Sorry about the delay. Looks like we're live. Having some technical issues. The game's starting up. It was freezing a couple of times. It looks like we got it. So, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. How is everyone? All right. So tonight we are back to Dragon Age Origins, and as we left off last week, we were just getting into the elven alienage. There was all sorts of terrible things happening there, apparently and allegedly, and we're gonna have to figure out what. There is nefariousness going on behind the scenes. We'll be trying our best to uncover what it is. Of course, as also indicated by both the thumbnail and by the end of last week's stream, I'm not going to be able to help making comparisons to our present. So there's that. Prepare for spicy takes, as indicated by the thumbnail. Otherwise, though, I'm sure there will be plenty of other things we need to discuss too. I've been recently encountering all sorts of other discussions, having once again to do with the theology of aliens. So there's that too. Anyway, so if you've got alien type questions, or like, could God create aliens, or can we baptize aliens, or whatever, the usual, the kind of stuff that I cannot possibly stop talking about for whatever idiotic reason, then feel free. I'll happily bring that up. It goes for you guys who are here now, or anybody who winds up joining us, because this is a topic that comes up in my weird little internet circles every once in a while, fairly often. Kylie says she just got back from hanging out with some friends and doing some archery. Awesome. Just for that? Oh, wait, no. I was going to say we'll bring Liliana, our archer, but not really for this quest. Unfortunately, she really does not fit in for this quest. Next one. Next thing we do. In honor of Kylie shooting things with a bow, we'll bring our archer next quest. All right. Hi, Kevin. How's it going? There's always talk of aliens abounds on any of my live streams, even the ones that have nothing to do with science fiction or alien life or anything like that. Nice. Kylie says, I got to try out a 45-pound compound for the first time. Did pretty well. Nice. I've never shot a compound bow. Oh, right. I can level up Duncan. There. Yeah, I've never shot a compound bow. From what I know about them, they're a lot more stable. Because they don't require the same strength to hold back as a longbow. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever shot over. I think 50-pound was probably the heaviest longbow I've shot. Slug hug. All right, Kevin. No salt, please. No problem. This says I have a more traditional bow, but I couldn't find the thing that strings up the bow. I think I've said this before. It's at least possible to string a bow by hand if you use the leg trick. Again, not something I have tried with a bow of any significant poundage, so it's probably easier said than done. But yeah. Also, we all like salt. Salt's a good thing.
Stay away.
Let me turn up the game volume just a tad. It seems really quiet. Calm down, I just want to ask some questions.
I can't say nothing. Please, just go. I don't want trouble.
Okay, some coin change your mind.
All right. I saw them take everyone. Took them right out of their beds. Dragged them down the hallways. Baker, the little one's crying.
Where did they take everyone?
Through the landlord's old office. They go in there, they never come back.
What about Valendrian?
I saw him.
It's the
He
sister's
marched
brother.
through the hall with a bunch of others, all
yeah.
tied together like pack mules.
What else have you seen?
Every few days, they come back. It's like a parade, a silent one. Men and women and children. You have to go. They'll be back soon. They'll find out I talked and they'll take me too. Please, just go.
Yes, definitely something sketchy going on. It kind of says she's tried the leg trick, but she's weak. I mean, it's easier than just trying to do it with your literal hands, which is kind of an alternative. Zevran, unlock that for me. Would you? Nice. Kevin says, I love archery. I've shot compound, recurve, and crossbow. Would love to try an English longbow. Very powerful. Depends on the longbow. I mean, you can get an English longbow in like 40 or 50 pounds. But you know, the upper ranges of a longbow, the warbow type of thing, those can get up to 80, 100. Some of them, there's records of them being 150-pound draw, which seems a little absurd, but hey, that's how you shoot through armor plate. Yeah, I think most modern composite longbows, the like resin and plastic type ones, are recurve. To get the most out of a more elastic material like modern composites. Kyla says, I love it, but I didn't get a lot of chances to do it. There aren't archery ranges near me. There's always a bale of hay in the backyard. Not that I mean, hell, I'll encourage such things. Just know what's behind your target. That's all. Just make sure you know what's behind your target. Dried blood and bits of hair cling to the broken edges of this vase. Looks like a struggle. Thinking of going to the Bay Area Renaissance Festival, which is in Dade City this year. Maybe next week. I think it's the... I forget what is next week. I think it's Shamrocks and Shenanigans or Highland Fling. I forget which one next week is. But one of these coming up. I'll probably go to. Let's see. I want to give you this bone. A veal bone. All right.
And I'm off.
We're about to just sit down to dinner. Wait. Kylie, you had that, but snakes got into it. You had that meaning a bale of hay in the backyard? I mean, snakes wouldn't prevent you from shooting into it.
Perhaps I could have a try.
But, oh, geez. Hi to Winter Soldiers. What about I just frost you all? Ooh, who did that? I think we got them all. All right then. Other books. Ken says we just go out to the local woods and shoot whatever we want. Yeah, there's a nice pine forest out here that is technically private property, but I don't think anyone cares. That would be nice for at least bow shooting. I wouldn't want to like go out and shoot guns out there. It's a little too close to neighborhoods and such. But
perhaps I could have a try at that.
Bows aren't very loud, which is nice. Hey, I will be nice to snakes. Just tell them not to get in my archery target. It's not my fault. I like snakes, but
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
yeah, please do. Do I need to tell you to directly? Yeah, I do. Okay.
As you like.
All right. Kelly says, yeah, bale of hay, and because we have a dog, we didn't like the snakes in the backyard, so we get rid of. Oh, that does. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Going.
Let's get here.
What's this? Another shipment already? We weren't... Wait. You're no Winter. Who are you supposed to be?
I'm looking for the missing elves.
Quick, get them, hurry!
Oh, well, look at that. Would you look at that?
All right.
Oh, it's kicking up my breathing. Okay, yeah, I can fix that, I think. Thank you for letting me know. You know, I really just need, Erica, I just need you on my, I just need you on my, jeez, I keep reducing the gate more and more and more. Let's try that. Make it pretty intense. Okay, well, if I breathe like really loud, it works, but right. All right, I have to breathe or click really loud to get it to work now. Okay, cool. Looks like we're good. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know what I would do without you, hon. Yeah, Kylie says my friends had a wooden platform he made that we used for archery. He had a tomahawk we got to throw too. Cool. Wooden targets are rough on most arrowheads, though. I mean, you can use the like target arrows, the ones that are almost blunt. They're hard to destroy, so that might do. Yeah, I would. I really would look like an idiot without you. Thank you. Thank you again. Kevin says, axe throwing. I want to do some of that too. I used to practice throwing knives. But I got focused on saber dueling and never got back to it. Yeah, I've done axe throwing. I'm trash at knife throwing. I'm very bad at knife throwing. I can never get the number of turns right on a throw.
Going. All right.
Actually, hold on. We should probably go and investigate the situation using our words first before we just dive headlong into you know, the dangerous part. Into the kicking down doors aspect of the investigation. What did we miss in the next room? Missed something here. Oh, there's corpses. No, maybe not. What's this? A note. Key. There's a key with this note. Bring 8 males and 6 females in the next shipment. Okay. Yeah, they're. This is definitely slavery. Okay, so I was definitely looking like an idiot because I kept throwing it at the ground. Yeah. Axe throwing, from my little experience, you have to worry a little bit less about the actual head hitting properly. But for knives, it really has to hit just perfectly point on.
No, you can't go inside just for a moment. So you might as well walk right back around to the front doors. You shouldn't be out on the streets now anyway. What with the plague?
Ooh, look, a lockdown. Who'd have thought? Aren't you afraid of getting the plague yourself?
What's worse, dying of the plague or dying of hunger? I'll take my chances with the plague, thank you, if it means I get paid. I've been hungry. The novelty's worn off.
Yeah, so there you go. That is like the question of the last year. What's worse, dying of the plague or dying of hunger? Yeah, seems legit. I'm just gonna leave these things floating there in the ether. Just keep all this in mind. How much do they pay you?
Not enough to put up with all these questions. What do you want?
6 sovereigns. Oh god, alright, I'll leave. I might come back, but that's a lot of cash. Alright, we'll see. We'll see. If I can't get in the front door, and if I can't go around the weird back way. Let's see what these guys are up to.
I ask you to stand back. Some of these people are carrying the plague. The alienage is not safe for visitors.
Aren't you afraid of getting the plague?
If we did not know how to prevent the plague, we would not be here now.
And you would spend the legendary magic of the Imperium on lowly slum dwellers in Ferelden. 'Tis most remarkable.
It is hardly in our best interests to allow a plague to grow anywhere. The Imperium is hardly remote.
Yes, it
Hardly
is.
close either. Across the sea, with whole nations between your borders and ours, and that is not enough to protect you?
For your own safety, we must ask you to leave now.
Is she shuriken? It's like cheating. Lol. Yeah, I could. That is true. You really can't. I mean, you can if you get the angle. If you hit at the wrong angle, a shuriken won't stick. But
You know, Alistair, Antiva has a long tradition of royal bastards.
You don't say.
Oh, yes. They've led wars to claim the throne. Some of them have become kings. In fact, I'd say the current royal line in Antiva stems from bastard blood several times over.
Well, aren't you just chock full of useless trivia today?
Sadly, whenever a royal bastard rears their head in public and declares themselves, it often goes poorly for them.
Let me guess. They get assassinated.
Only the very popular ones.
And the unpopular ones?
Well, they get by somehow, I'm sure. There was one fellow who did quite well working as a prostitute based on his uncanny resemblance to the king. Charged a fortune.
Couldn't afford him, I take it.
That cynicism will serve you well, my friend. Hold on to it.
Oh god.
I'm sorry, but we're closed.
Oh.
There are a few places in the market district that can probably serve you.
I'm only looking for information.
I'm sorry, you'll have to look somewhere else. Excuse me.
Okay, never mind. Alright, so yeah, let's just go in the back door. Let's pay our way into the back. I don't want to beat up the guy who's just trying to survive back here. What do I have in terms of money? Oh yeah, I've got enough. I've got over 100 gold. I can afford to give him 6.
Didn't I already tell you to leave?
Wait.
You do that.
I want to give you money.
Didn't I already tell you to leave? You do that.
What? Hold on. Hold on. Let's go to my autosave, because I'm going to have to go back and re-talk to him, I suppose. These guys, okay. That's fireball. Freeze these 3. Really? Alright, so like I said, I don't want to kill the guy. I'd rather bribe him, because he needs the money anyway.
Going.
Alright. But yeah, because we've got we've got an uncomfortable familiar situation here of a plague that seems to be perhaps overhyped. At the very least, it seems to be exploited for the sake of powerful people doing untoward things. That's for sure. As for anything else, what's going on here? We have to figure out what exactly they're up to. It looks like slave rings. Looks like a very nasty slave ring. Which, of course, the Tevinter are known for. It's almost like bringing someone in to deal with a medical situation like this, whose expertise is in untoward, underhanded, sketchy activity, and is known for doing so historically, is a recipe for disaster. And I'll just, of course, my thumbnail has nothing to do with this.
I ask you
Nothing
to
at all.
stand back. Some of these people are carrying the plague. The alienage is not safe for visitors.
Can I see Valandrian?
Who?
Is that one of the patients in quarantine? You cannot enter there.
And you would spend the legendary magic of the Imperium on lowly slum dwellers in Ferelden. 'Tis most remarkable.
It is hardly in our best interests to allow a plague to grow anywhere. The Imperium is hardly remote.
'Tis hardly close, either. Across the sea, with whole nations between your borders and ours, and that is not enough to protect you?
For your own safety, we must ask you to leave now.
Well, okay. Let's go in here again before we head around the back.
I'm sorry, but we're closed. There are a few places in the market district that can probably serve you.
Only looking for information.
You'll have to look somewhere else.
Okay, he's got nothing. Alright. I didn't think so, but... Right, let me, I'd love a little clip of just this guy talking, so I'm gonna see if I can get rid of my... What did I just do? Oh, not that. There it is. Alright, you can still hear me, but that's fine. Alright, here we go.
No, you can't go inside just for a moment. So you might as well walk right back around to the front doors. You shouldn't be out on the streets now anyway. What with the plague? What's worse? Dying of the plague or dying of hunger? I'll take my chances with the plague, thank you, if it means I get paid. I've been hungry. The novelty's worn off.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Not enough to put up with all these questions. What do you want?
There, I'm back. Okay, would you let me in the house for 6 sovereigns?
6. Sure. I never saw you, and you never saw me.
Kevin says ancient Chinese medicine man. Vow. Key. Let's say key. Let's go with key as the sort of alternative pronunciation of that word. Let's go with that to keep the illusions distinct and separate. Oh, hi, Tevinter soldier guys. Soldierman. Okie dokie. Let's do this. Whoosh. Let's go. Now let's not do that.
I still remember my first battle. Shall we complete the points?
These are some nasty swords. Right. Pile of coins. Decent.
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
Thank you. And what else we got in here?
Help us,
Oh.
please! We're not sick! Let us out of here!
Okay, I'm getting you out of here.
Thank you, friend.
Where's Valendrian?
They took him away already. Through the back alley. We don't know where exactly.
You should get out of here.
You don't have to say that twice.
Look at that. It's quick save. Oh, wait. I just walked out the front door, didn't I? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, jeez. Whoops. Freezy time. Oh, jeez, what happened there? Whoops. Why am I just fighting civilian elves? This doesn't seem right. What the heck was that blood explosion?
All right.
Jeez. Okay. I did not mean for that fight to happen exactly that way, but oops. I really should have noticed. I should have predicted that.
What happened? Some of the elves ran out, but I didn't recognize any of them. Where are all the others?
Found this note.
Let me see that. What does this even mean? They can't be shipping people, can they? Shipping them where?
Have you seen them bring any out of the hospice?
No. People go in, but they don't come out. They aren't shipping anything out of there that we've seen. They could be moving through the back alleys. There are all sorts of buildings back there. They could be using one as some sort of warehouse, staging area.
There's a key with the note.
There are apartments off the alleys. I would go to the back of the hospice and maybe follow the alley from there. If you find any more information, please let me know. I refuse to accept that they're all simply gone.
There's a lot of nice cats around this neighborhood. Yeah, I could just quick load now that I think about it, but no. It's probably best, like story-wise, that we cover their escape by beating up the Devinter mages. Besides, beating up a couple of Devinter mages, slavers, far from a bad thing. Excuse me. Ooh. Kylie says, my friend's friend had a Maine Coon kitten. Awesome. I love Maine Coons. They're really, really nice. And rather... I mean, even their kittens are big. but mostly because they're fluffy. You know? There are bigger breeds of cat, but Maine Coons are the biggest in terms of just like look at their bulk, just because of just the massive fluffiness that comes with an already large cat.
We were told that there would be no interference from the authorities.
No interference in what? What's going on here?
You simply fought your way in here to ask questions, did you? You will regret this, you know. Believe it or not, we've been given dispensation to do our business here. You Fereldans talk a great deal about how very wrong slavery is. But isn't it funny how quickly the smell of gold overcomes such ideals?
I intend to shut you down, even so.
And I intend to see you pay for the damage you've already done in blood.
Good luck. Yeah. Guy says, yeah, and my cat named Baby was a mix of that and a Manx. Ooh, that's fancy. I have Toigers. They're the like half not Savannah cat. What's the term? Oh, jeez, this isn't good. This is really bad. But all of you get frozen. And all of you be set ablaze. Oh god, okay, that's bad. Alright, Morrigan. Sleep 'em. Dalen. Cleansing all that because everybody needs healings. I need more healing myself. Where's Waking Nightmare? Crap. This is bad. Can she? No, she can't. Okay. Okay, there's 3 of them there. And... okay. No, not that. Okay. Okay, that's all of them for now. Okay. Oof. That was a heck of a fight that I did not expect or see coming. Right.
All right.
Kevin loves kitties. That's good. Kylie says he had no tail and his eyes were crossed. Oh. Hey, listen. Erica says, oh please, they're gray striped domestic short hairs. Stop making them out to be fancy. They're literally rescue kittens off the street. Well, yes, they're not technically from the street. They're rescue kittens from a construction site. Which I guess is basically the same thing, but still, they are fancy-ish. I mean, look at them. That is a very specific pattern from a very specific breed that was very popular at the time. Shortly after, my parents got one of basically the same pattern and breed and stuff. And we have two of them. We have Angel and Turbo, brother and sister. Angel is the small patat, the like fat potato type shape of a cat. Turbo is the long boy style of cat. Whereas my parents, Simba, is both. Is the massive potato. Let's go do that. Actually, no. Let's do this guy first. Really? Didn't really? You're kidding me, right? Kevin says, since we're on the topic, since we're on the subject of Chinese stuff, are we? And cats. What have we been eating today? Rude! Erica's right, Popeyes. Popeyes for dinner. I love that chicken from Popeyes. Absolutely. Oh, come on, are you serious? Fine. Let's go. Let's do... there. And let's do that. Just really? Come on.
Yes.
Let's go with Death Cloud. And Frosty. Ah. Alright. Let's freeze these two. Alright. That's all of them for now. Kevin says Popeyes is legit. Yeah, 100%. Love it. I've really taken a liking to their spicy chicken sandwich, which is almost a shame because I really just love their chicken, their spicy chicken. Like, I absolutely love just their, their regular bone-in chicken. It's amazing. But their spicy chicken sandwich is good enough that I will really pretty much always defer to that.
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
I usually get that, which means I very, very seldom just get chicken. It's almost a shame. I will also say, despite there being a Checkers across the street from our Popeyes, I still think that Popeyes has, this is going to be controversial, but Popeyes has the best fast food French fries there are.
I am Caladrius, and you, I assume, must be the Grey Warden I've heard so much about.
I haven't had roasted pork chops and sautéed mushrooms. Not bad. I'm not a pork chop guy. Almost generally not a pork guy. But I can sometimes appreciate that sort of thing. Depends. Kylie had strawberries, blueberries, and an omelet. Nice. Very Floridian. You've heard of me.
One can hardly get a word out of the Regent besides Warden these days. It's surpassed even gold in popularity.
Demented bastards. Then you should know to be frightened of me.
Now, is this how we begin? With bluster? I was hoping for civility.
As civilized as slavery?
Business is business, my dear Warden. Even so, your point is made. You do frighten me, but you also intrigue me. I've heard that you're trying to erode Logain's support. It must be a difficult task, yes, like washing away a mountain. Perhaps you could use some help.
Oh, this should be good.
Sarcasm is beneath us both, my dear Warden. Truth be told, there was always a limit to how long we were going to be able to operate here. We've paid for many of Logain's troops, but once the Landsmeet is done, we become inconvenient. So, here is my offer. 100 sovereigns from you for a letter with the seal of the Terran of Guaren upon it, implicating him in all of this. Then, we leave a few days earlier than planned with our profits and remaining slaves unharmed.
'Tis a reasonable enough starting offer.
I suggest you look those elves in the eyes before you agree to have them hauled off to slavery, my friend.
I feel dirty. We're not considering this, are we?
So, do we have a deal? Even you must admit it's much better than resorting to barbarism, yes?
I have a counteroffer.
Interesting.
I wonder if I can get away with this. Now this is Popeye's blackened chicken tenders are the best. They are good, but they're not the best. They're regular. I still say their regular spicy fried chicken's the best. But I will say their blackened tenders are really, really good. There's very little at Popeyes that isn't great, honestly. I don't know if I can get away with this one. Let's try it. You leave everything and get out with your hides.
Now, that's not much of a deal, is it? Let's do this the hard way, then. Men, shall we?
Alright, so let's just crushing prison him. And then we'll firestorm everyone. Really? Come on. What in the world? I thought I stopped this bastard. Okay. Jeez. Fireball. No, wait, hold on. You know what? Which one's quick save? F8? Oh. Okay. One of those is quick load. I wonder if I can give him just the money. Let's try this again, shall we? Alright, let's just rush through some of this. Alright. We get ya. You've heard of me.
One can hardly get a word out of
Should be frightened.
Now, is this how we begin?
Civilizes slavery. Oh, this should be good.
So, so, do we have a deal?
Counteroffer.
Interesting.
Leave the elves and the letter. Take your money and go.
Oh, no, that won't do. These elves are worth... Well, the entire trip isn't profitable without them, I'm afraid. Have you anything else to suggest?
You don't really think I'll let you leave with more elves?
No, I suppose not. I've always been too optimistic for my own good, it's true. Let's do this the hard way, then.
Worth a shot.
Men, shall we?
Okay, jeez, Alistair, chill. Morgan, let's go Deathcloud him. Alistair, go kill these two. Junkin, go kill those two. Severin, kill the other one of those two. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah, jeez, really? How is he moving around with my force field? This is nonsense. Okay, let's see. Let's go with Firestorm. There.
It seems your reputation is an accurate one. I surrender.
Perhaps you should be left to the mercies of these elves.
Wait! Hear me out, kind sir. Were I to use the life force of the remaining slaves here, I could augment your physical health a great deal. Allow me to leave this place alive, and I would be more than happy to do this little service for you.
That's way worse.
An interesting offer, if a tad messy.
So, is my offer of interest to you, yes?
No, it really isn't.
Then,
No thanks on the blood magic.
I don't suppose you would consider just letting me go.
No. Divinter Magister, why? No. I don't suppose I would attack.
Well, that is a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, this was a bad idea, big guy. Nice one, Duncan! Duncan tore his throat out. Nice.
You don't look like a Tevinter. Not that it means much.
Oh,
Are you
good.
one of them? What happens to us now?
Are you Valendrian? Shiani was looking for you.
Shiani? Did she send you here? Praise the Maker.
Got rid of the Tevinter slaver. That's good. So, that explains what was going on. Trying to make slaves out of a good deal of everyone. On the cover of protecting people from a plague. One might even say a pandemic. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if that word will trigger algorithms, but I don't know. We'll see.
Going. Huh.
It's like I don't even need to draw parallels. I could, but
And I'm off.
I think they really just sort of draw themselves.
Going.
Okay, nice. All right, let's see what if that robe of the Magister Lord is actually better than what I have. No. Vestments of the Seer. No, that's actually better. Wow. Defender and Enchanter's robes. No. No, that's crazy. What I actually currently have is still better. All right, what about Morrigan? No, what she has is better. Jeez. Well. Okay. Nothing he needs, really.
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
Thank you. I need to sell a bunch of stuff at some point. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright. This will definitely help deal with Logain. Hi, Serato.
What have you found?
I'll keep looking. Wait, I literally just uncovered everything. What more does he want? Okay. Alright, Shiani, what do you want? What's up with you?
I'm sorry if I was rude to you before. Andraste's ass, you'd think I'd learned some social graces. Anyway, what I mean by all this is, thank you.
Okay. What about the shop? Can I buy and sell now?
Look who's here. I heard all about what you did to those Tevinters. Nice work.
Have a look at your wares.
Of course. Just keep it quiet.
Okay. Ooh. Nah. Definitely sell those. Sell that. That's nice, but sell that. That. the same thing. Okay. Any of this? Oh, is that... No, I think that's for somebody we don't have and won't get. It's 11 gold. It's probably worth it, though. What else they have? It's not bad. Yeah, it's worth getting. Use it for Zevran. So he can get thievery maxed out. Okay, cool. Why not?
The house has eyes. What Grandma calls. What's a girl to do? Have to be a good girl, but have to avoid the bad men. You're not one of the bad men, are you? I just want to make Grandma happy.
Bad men?
The housemen. They came the night of shouting. All of us orphans were in there. Then the blood. Oh, the blood. Still bleeding. Poor animals. Poor us.
Talking about the riots?
So many died. So many. The orphanage is all dead now.
Who's your grandmother?
Never met her, but she protected me. But I lost her amulet. Grandma, make the voices go away.
What do the voices say?
Everything and nothing. They thirst for blood. More blood. The bad men in the house.
Is there anything I can do to help?
No, sir. No, sir, indeed. Don't go into the orphanage. The bad men will take you too.
It's the orphanage. What's this? Where the heck's the orphanage? What? Interesting, but...
What have you found?
A beggar said there were bad men in the orphanage.
The riot took its toll not only on the body, but on the mind as well. I know of whom you speak, although she opened up more to you than me. And her poor orphanage. Sad tale, that. Did you find anything else?
It's the orphanage's story.
When the elven riot was being suppressed, the orphanage was stormed. It was bad. Very bad. Have you found anything else?
I'll keep looking. Where is the orphanage? get into the orphanage. Very odd. Yeah, let's let's check that out. This is probably just the warehouse we were just at. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. Hmm.
I'm not going anywhere, so I'll waste your time.
I doubt it'll do much, but...
Just leave me alone.
Ah, it's you. Welcome. Please come in. Tell me, how is Duncan?
You know Duncan?
He's been a friend of mine for many years, yes. From the look on your face, I take it the news is bad.
He died at Ostagar.
I am sorry to hear that. I knew that the Warden suffered great losses at Ostagar, but a few escaped. I had hoped Duncan might be one of them.
Did you know Duncan?
He came here now and then to look for potential recruits. Perhaps that seems strange to you, but Duncan was a man who knew that talent could emerge in the most unlikely places.
What will you do about the plague now?
We've been through outbreaks of pestilence during the war with Orlais. We'll endure. I doubt very much now that the Tevinter intervention would have helped us anyway.
He doubted as well. I should go.
Take this. Duncan gave it to me years ago. I suspect you'll put it to better use than I would.
This Gift of the Grey. Huh. Dagger. Better than the cheese knife. Higher damage and way higher critical. Yeah. Which one's the cheese knife? You know. Gotta do some re-enchanting when we get back to camp. Alright.
Oh, it's good to see you again, friend. You were so generous to me before, and these are other veterans.
I'm an orphan.
Oh, and an orphan. Please, my lord, can you spare some coin?
Are you really a veteran?
I am insulted. A veteran campaigner, am I? And Oli is as bereft of parents as anyone's ever been.
My mom is especially dead.
No need to mention that, Oli. Will you help us?
Yeah. Here's your chance at a better life.
Oh, you're too kind. Just too kind.
The Maker preserve you.
Long live the good sir!
Well, okay. Good. Good at least. Alright. Let's get out of here. I don't think we have anything more to do in the market district. I think we're good. Let's go to camp real quick. Need to do some enchanting before we move on. Sorry, enchantment. See how everyone's doing.
It has occurred to me that I have been... Excuse me. This is not easy. It occurs to me that I have been less than charitable with it since it reanimated me.
You're a golem, I understand.
I have come to realize that it has been good to me. You have been good to me, even though you had no control rod to enforce obedience. I have never had one before, so I don't know how to thank you for being, you know...
A friend?
Exactly so.
Aww.
I followed you, expecting to find answers to my questions, but I think I have found something better.
Good to have you along.
Oh, let us not speak of this awkward bonding moment ever again. To the road.
It was nice. Enchantment?
Enchantment?
Enchantment.
Enchantment!
Alright, Phil Weaver. Who is equipping Duncan's sword? He needs something for that. Master Dwemer. Yeah, spell resistance. What's that? Paralyze and lightning. Paralyze. Frost. Disenchant. It's pretty nice, but no. All right. Fine. See how Morgan's doing. Check in on everyone before we move out. Continue on our way.
Desire?
Something personal.
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Okay. So why not?
Such a romantic, I see.
She's gotta be standoffish and aloof about it, of course. God. Alright, Sten. How were you imprisoned?
I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
I thought you killed some farmers.
I did.
Why?
Is it a human saying, no good deed goes unpunished? They saved my life.
Kevin says, ooh, smooches, and then Max says, oh my gosh, watching these janky character models bump faces. Yeah, I mean, this was, what, 2008? It gets the message across as awkwardly as can be. Oh gosh. Why don't you just tell me what happened, Stone?
I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
What happened to the other Qunari?
I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke, I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
What'd you do?
I searched for it, and when that failed, I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
Did the farmers know where it was?
They said they found me with nothing.
Did you believe them?
I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
It's only an object, Sten. You can get another sword.
Do your people have no souls as we know them? Convenient for you. That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
How can your people possibly think that way?
We know who we are, and what we are meant to be.
Yeah, so there's something vaguely similar in some warrior cultures. So, you know, particularly ancient Greece, like classical Greece, the hoplite soldier is expected to never discard his shield. But it's the shield, right? It's not the sword. The sword, in this case, represents his place within society, but in a purely symbolic manner, it seems like. This is a especially given that the Qunari are known to be atheistic, right? Broadly speaking, I mean, this is a purely, excuse me, Popeyes. This is known to be this seems to be a purely symbolic type of problem, right? Whereas, say in ancient Greek, the ancient Greek culture, classical Greek culture, with the hoplites, right? The shield. If you would drop your shield, right? What that meant was, even if you were victorious in battle, but you dropped your shield, what that means is that you abandoned your brothers in arms to defeat, whether you won or not, because of the battle formation of the hoplite phalanx. Every soldier needed their shield to provide for not only their own defense, but the defense primarily of the person to their immediate left. So if one shield falls, the phalanx breaks apart. Which means that if anyone turns tail and runs, first of all, you're going to drop your 40-pound shield, give or take. Because it's, again, a hardwood-backed layer of bronze. It's a heavy thing. It is the heaviest piece of equipment the hoplites carried. You're going to drop it if you're going to run. But then if you drop it, What that means is that the army is breaking apart, and you're responsible for it. So it's very straightforwardly treasonous to drop one's shield as part of a hoplite phalanx. That seems to be less the case when it comes to Sten and was it the Barasad? The Kunari expeditionary forces, basically. The sword, especially as the last man standing, the sword represents one's own martial prowess and one's own place within that society, but only in a symbolic manner. That symbolism isn't instantiated to the same degree that it would be with something like the hoplite phalanx, where being disarmed of your shield means not only defeat, but abandoning your post, abandoning your brothers, your allies, your countrymen, the battle. So it seems like this is an overemphasis on pure symbolism, particularly at the expense of an individual's life. But again, emphasis on symbolic social structures at the expense of the life of the individual seems like basically just what the Kunari are about in general. So this is really prototypical of the faults and flaws of the Kunari social system. Good night, Kylie. Have a good one tomorrow. Good luck on errands and stuff. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Back to Nier on Monday, back to Origins on Thursday. We'll see how far we get tonight. We might wind up doing a lot more personal quests, if this is any indication. Or we may actually get to the Landsmeet. We'll see. You're always, of course, as usual, welcome to come back and watch the pre-recorded, the video on demand. It's up usually within the next day or two. Also worth noting, now's as good a time as any to mention, I am in the process of backing up my entire channel to Odyssey. Odyssey is another sort of competing video hosting site that is far less restrictive and censorious than YouTube. If I understand it correctly, it is fully open source and possibly even crypto based. So it is, from what I understand, from what I know about it, is it's a great service. They don't do live streaming, or at least don't do it well just about yet. So I am still going to be primarily on YouTube, at least until they won't have me anymore. But that is a backup. So I'll put a link in the description and probably in the Discord to my new Odyssey channel as it gets populated with my existing videos. So that'll be there for you guys to check out. I always encourage diversifying one's social media or otherwise media in general presence. So there's that. All right, Stan, where did you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Callanhad.
All right, well, we'll try and find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
Okay. Barasad, that's it.
That could have gone better.
Not very surprising.
After this thing with the archdemons over, I'll have to pry the ladies off with pliers, I suppose. Might as well rest up while I can. You ready to go?
I'd like to know more about you.
What about?
Do you miss Orzammar?
What? Miss Orzammar? Are you mad, in addition to being ugly? They treated me like a puddle fly back there. I'm never going back.
Rude. Okay.
All right.
We'll talk more later.
All right, then.
Yana, how you doing?
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
What's on your mind?
Why did you decide to come to Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
Was she not happy in Orlais?
She wasn't unhappy. We had a good life, and she liked Orlais well enough. I loved it, though. Val-Royeaux was so vibrant, colorful. Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
You were young, it's understandable.
Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dried flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andrastis Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on.
Do I have any more of those on me? Yeah, I do.
Oh, how dear of you.
Oh, nice. Just what about Wynne?
Things are coming to a head fairly quickly, aren't they? Are you ready?
I hope so. We need to overthrow Logan.
I'm not talking just about Logain, but about the Blight, the archdemon. You will have to face him. The last Grey Wardens in Ferelden. So much is expected from you. It hardly seems fair, either to you or to Alistair. I look at you sometimes and you are so young. You face death every day. You know you are unlikely to live long. Does it frighten you?
I'd gladly give my life for others.
And you sacrifice that others may live. Yes. The first
Being a Grey Warden is.
400 years, and here you are, the fulcrum on which it all turns. Whatever happens, you will become legend. And if we should prevail, even if you die, you will live on in the memories of those you sacrificed everything for.
Well, that's all I could ask for, I suppose.
And perhaps one day they will forget, but it will not erase what you did. Every new day that they see will be because of you, and nothing in this world will ever make that untrue.
This is going to my head, you know.
I see you've kept your sense of humor through all this. It will serve you well in the coming days.
Yeah, so this is another cool historical thing too. Because of the prominence of the player character, let's say, this blight lasts like a year or less, compared to most of the blights in the past that have lasted decades. I think the first or maybe the second lasted, I think, over a century of Darkspawn invasions until they were able to defeat the Archdemon. And this is a huge difference, where this blight was just, you know, more or less a minor inconvenience to some backwater little kingdom of Ferelden, whereas all the other blights have swept across multiple nations, across basically the whole continent, killing, you know, presumably untold millions. The Anderfels, the homeland of the Grey Wardens, where they have their fortress, is basically a wasteland because it was ruined by the first or second, the big one, whichever was the bigger one, the first or the second blight. So this nonchalantness with which we approach this blight, and everyone seems to approach this blight. On the one hand, it makes sense because this is the first year, right? This is the beginning. No one's even sure if this is a blight yet. It hasn't been going on for a very long time. And so it naturally would be kind of hard to recruit allies, especially foreign allies. Especially in a world where you know, transportation and communication are pretty severely limited by distance and by political borders. So, you know, asking for help from the Grey Wardens of Orlais, or from the Free Marches across the Waking Sea, or anything like that, in this context, that would be incredibly, incredibly difficult. And while it's doable, and eventually they'd probably show up, it would be basically after Ferelden was completely destroyed by the Blight. It's a neat thing to consider that, the shortness of this Blight makes it both much less damaging, but then also much less difficult to deal with, in a sense. So it's a weird sort of catch-22, if you look at it that way.
I did not thank you. It occurs to me now that you have freed me from the crows, and yet I did not think to thank you for it. No matter why you did it, it was done, and I the benefactor. So, thank you.
We're friends, Zevran. I was glad to do it.
You say that so quickly, and yet it is an odd thing for me to hear. In the crows, we do not have friends, and yet here you are, and I cannot help but consider you such.
I could just turn it right back around and say, nah, just kidding, not really friends. We are comrades in arms.
Then allow me to say this. What we are doing here, stopping the Blight, I cannot think of anything I have ever done which is so worthy. I intend to see this through to the end with you. After all, someone must take responsibility for preventing your untimely death. A suitable task for a friend, yes?
You don't need to die either,
Oh, I'm not going to die. It's always the Grey Wardens that die. Did you not read the stories as a child? The hero always dies. Unless the hero has a trusty sidekick with him, then the sidekick dies instead.
Uh-oh.
I knew there was a catch. This friendship business is for the birds, I see.
I love characters who base their entire understanding of the world on stories. I absolutely love that. That's kind of like Al, one of my warlock, my spoiled rich kid warlock, in one of my D&D games, who is very closely based on Aladdin, but actually noble. Basically, he's based on Aladdin's fake story that he gave to Jasmine, that he really is a prince. But that he runs around as a street rat. But that's actually my character's backstory, and he basically bases his understanding of the world on cynical courtly politics and fairy tales, which is a real dichotomy. But put the two together, it kind of works.
Look, before we go any further, I want to say something. I appreciate that you brought me to see my sister, and that you were there to talk me down after we left. You're a true friend. I just wanted to tell you that.
We're in this together, Alistair.
That we are. I have your back. You know that, right? Well, now that that's out of the way, ask away.
I have questions.
Of course.
Why'd you keep your birthright a secret?
You never asked?
It's a cheap answer.
All right. If you want the full explanation, I'll give it to you. The thing is, I'm used to not telling anyone who didn't already know. It was always a secret. Even Duncan was the only Grey Warden who knew. And then after the battle, when I should have told you, I don't know, it seemed like it was too late by then. How do you just tell someone that?
By the way, I'm heir to the throne.
Yes, well, I suppose part of me kind of liked you not knowing.
Why? What happens when people find out?
They treat me differently. I become the bastard prince to them, instead of just Alistair. I know that must sound stupid to you, but I hate that it shaped my entire life. I never wanted it, and I certainly don't want to be king. The very idea of it terrifies me.
You probably don't have a choice in the matter.
You can say that again. I don't think I've ever had a choice in the matter. Right from when I was born, all my choices have been made for me. And now Arleman plans to put me forward as the heir. I It never ends, does it? For what it's worth, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. It was a dumb thing to do.
Apology accepted.
I guess it's kind of a relief that you know now. Let's go.
Okay. Alright, skedoodle.
Indeed. Indeed.
Okay. Let's just go to Denerim. That's a good tip. Didn't know that. Okay. Oh, hey.
Magic exists to serve man and never to rule.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
Nice.
Those stung with 100 arrows, those suffering from ailments both great and small, his heart was strong, and he moved on.
They shall be named Maleficar, accursed one. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. I was getting to that part.
Good to see you again.
Okay, nothing new there.
Magic exists.
Alright, let's go to Arl Eamon's estate. It's a weird sound. Okay. Move on to the next big thing. So while we're just wandering about, anything that any of this brings up, or anything that you guys have questions about, philosophical or otherwise, happy to address it.
I can't believe the Arl only gave Her Highness that tiny room.
And I don't need that.
Always been stingy.
Let's go talk to Arl Eamon. Let's quickly save just in case, because I think this leads us to one of those points of no return. So let's do that.
Ah, there you are. I was about to send out a search party. I've been hearing of a great commotion in the alienage. What exactly happened there?
I have proof the Loghain was involved in slave trading. Actually, you know what? Would it make you happy to know Loghain is selling elves?
Make her forgive me. I should be appalled that such a thing could exist here. But I'm overjoyed you can implicate Loghain. We must end the civil war quickly. What the Blight does not corrupt in this land, politics surely will. The last of our allies have arrived.
No kidding.
We cannot delay any longer. I will call for the Landsmeet to convene. Bring Alistair and join me at the palace as soon as you are ready, Warden.
Okay, let's go do it. We're ready. Oh, let's talk to Riordan first, our Grey Warden compatriot. Are you underwater? Zod. Alright, well then let's go, I suppose.
Indeed.
Okay, so Alistair's coming, Morgan's coming. Win? Or Liliana. Oh, I did promise to bring Liliana. Because archery. I know Kylie went to bed, but still.
Indeed.
Fair is fair. Alright, that'll do us. Okay. Level her up. Stealth, maybe. Or... Oh. Oh. I see. Whoops. Alright, well in that case... Yeah, let's go summon Spider. Okay. All right, let's go.
Yes.
To the Royal Palace. Now I'm wondering if we're going to be attacked on the way. That would seem appropriate. Given everything up till now. But I guess not, maybe not. Excuse me.
Warden, I am not surprised it has come to this. And Alistair, if you were even remotely worthy of being called Marik's son, you would already be in the Landsmeet, now wouldn't you? You have torn Ferelden apart to oppose the very man who ensured you were born into freedom. But do not think you will get past me to desecrate the Landsmeet itself. The nobles of Ferelden will confirm my lord as regent, and we can finally put this to rest once you are gone.
You really not see what Loghain has become.
I'm aware that he has changed. It has been difficult for him to realize his own countrymen would turn against him. I'm not surprised he is bitter. But he is still a great man, one of the best Ferelden has seen.
To support his war, he sold his own people into slavery.
What was he supposed to do? You and Eamon were harassing him at every side, forcing him to empty the treasury to fight you. He never wanted a civil war. After Kaelin died, everyone was supposed to rally, come together to fight the Darkspawn without crying to Orlais for aid. He never anticipated Merrick's bastard would challenge the throne and force this war.
She knew. How do you justify letting Arl Howe torture his subjects?
You think war is simple, don't you, Warden? You only fight monsters. No one sheds a tear over the death of an ogre. Torture is an ugly business. But sometimes it's the only way to learn what your enemy intends. And it is much harder to tell who the enemy is when all of them look like you.
How can you support the man who killed your king?
Fine, you're right. What would you have me say, Warden? Loghain is a great man, but his hatred of Orlais has driven him to madness. He has done terrible things. I know it. But I owe him everything. I cannot betray him. Do not ask me to.
Then let me stop him. You know, it's the only way.
I wish I had died at Ostagar rather than live to see this moment. Stop him, Warden. Stop him from betraying everything he once loved. Please, show mercy. Without Loghain, there would be no Ferelden to defend.
I mean, she isn't technically wrong. Let me save again, because again, point of no return. Yeah, Kevin says torture is useless, both morally and practically. I mean, it's useful morally in terms of, you know, damning oneself to hell. That's useful, if that's your goal. But you're right. Practically speaking, again, studies have confirmed this. that people will say anything under torture to get the torture to stop. It has basically nothing to do with truth. It is not a way of actually getting someone to tell the truth. It's a way of getting someone to say what you want them to say, which, to be fair, has its own usefulness in breaking someone's will, which is why you see torture used in totalitarian regimes, in particular, because it is useful to coerce someone into accepting absurdities. Right? So 1984. Winston is repeatedly asked how many fingers is the torturer holding up, whose name I've forgotten at the moment. And he's tortured until he says 4. It's 4? Or is it 3? Whatever it is, right? Basically, until he gives the wrong answer, knowing that it's the wrong answer, but able to lie to himself in such a convincing way. Same thing we see in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Did a great episode, or maybe a pair of episodes on this, where Jean-Luc Picard is tortured by the Cardassians, that he'll be permitted to leave if only he says that there are 3 lights and he ignores the 4th one, because there's 4 lights, but if he's 3 or 5, whatever. If he gives the wrong number, then they'll stop the torture and they'll let him go. But only if he accepts their distorted, twisted, and obviously incorrect view of reality. We see this today, right? We see this, maybe not to the extent of torture, but we see this in terms of struggle sessions, what today colloquially called shit testing, right? Where you try to get someone to admit to something that they know is absurd. And again, to go with our edgy topic from the beginning and from the thumbnail, right? Pointing out that, getting someone to act as if, for example, mask policies are sensible, that they make any kind of sense. When somebody is required to wear a mask under certain circumstances, like sitting at a bar, but not required to under others very basically identical circumstances from a medical standpoint, sitting at a bar with a drink in your hand, right? The differences between pronouncements of the policy are indistinguishable, again, from a medical standpoint. But acting in this absurd manner is required for the sake of compliance, for the sake of obedience, for the sake of getting you to admit to absurdities, to take on the totalizing worldview of the totalitarian, right? To speak precisely. I don't remember what the story was exactly, but I think it was from Dave Smith talking about this on Part of the Problem, his podcast. Write this down. See if I can find the clip or find the episode. Where there was a woman who was interviewing, I think, Dr. Fauci, about the sensibility of mask policies, particularly for vaccinated versus unvaccinated people, and she was talking about how when she picks up her kid from the bus stop or whatever, and they go to walk home, that she takes her own mask off because she's at least partially vaccinated. But the kid keeps, her young daughter keeps her mask on. Why is this? Because they live in the same household. They're obviously going to communicate the disease to one another. And a vaccinated adult, as we know, has roughly the same communicability or more than an unvaccinated child who basically can't communicate COVID-19, again, by the CDC's own admission, right? So she says, doesn't this seem a little silly? Well, yeah. And I mean, there's really a couple of possibilities here. Either that didn't happen, and it's disturbing that she would lie about it publicly on national television. Just, again, to say that we act in these ways, right? We all do this, right? If you're asked, especially under any social pressure, do you follow the COVID-19 safety guidelines? Yeah, of course. Right, no, of course, I social distance and wear a mask in public. But do you really? Most people don't. Not so precisely, at least. Not nearly as precisely as they say they do. So, again, it's a matter of, willingly putting forward a front. And if it's not, then it's participating in what is obvious absurdity that she obviously recognizes as absurdity, right? And it's again an exercise in accepting what one knows to be a lie for the sake of accepting and embracing and acting out what one knows to be a lie for the sake of conformity, for the sake of obedience. And it's it's the same kind of thing that we get as a result of torture is not truth. It is compliance. And these are almost necessarily at odds with one another, right? If they're not at odds with one another, then they're completely disconnected from one another. If you can coerce someone into saying something true, right? Or if you can coerce someone into good behavior, whether that's through torture, social pressure, or something less significant, less horrifying than torture, right? You can coerce somebody into a particular kind of behavior, into saying something obviously untrue. Or if you can coerce somebody into saying something that is true, even, then there's no connection between their utterances or their behaviors and what is actually true, right? These things are completely disconnected. They have nothing to do with one another, and they're not acting truthfully. They're acting in fearful compliance, which is completely different, and there is no moral significance to acting in that way, to acting under duress. Now, maybe there's a measure of cowardice under certain circumstances. Again, torture might be an exception to this. Probably. At least under most circumstances it would be. So maybe there's a lack of courage, a kind of intellectual courage present. But aside from that, there's basically, in the act itself, there's basically no moral significance to it at all, because it's not your choice, it's not your behavior, it's not your action, it's not your attempt at conveying the truth, it's your attempt at conformity, at obedience, despite or irrelevant to what's true. Speaking of,
my lords and ladies of the Landsmeet,
let's get into politics.
Tiernan Loghain would have us give up our freedoms, our traditions, out of fear. He placed us on this path, yet we should place our destiny in his hands? Must we sacrifice everything good about our nation to save it?
A fine performance, Aemon. But no one here is taken in by it. You would attempt to put a puppet on the throne, and every soul here knows it. The better question is who will pull the strings. Ah! Here we have the puppeteer. Tell us, Warden, how will the Orlesians take our nation from us? Will they deign to send their troops, or simply issue their commands through this would-be prince? What do they offer you? How much is the price of Ferelden honor now?
I'm not the one who betrayed Ferelden.
Some of us are curious, Loghain, about precisely what happened at Ostagar.
So, one of Kaelin's killers would dare speak of betrayal. You led our king to his death with your grandiose tales of griffins flying into battle.
Okay, this is another good question, and I'm going to have to pause our discussion here because this is a good question. Kevin asks, hypothetically, if there were a statement of doctrine in a religion that demanded assent of faith to all of its teachings that you couldn't square with right reason, how would you handle that? I'd have to accept it. Right? And accept it on the assumption that my reasoning is in error. Right? My reasoning is certainly fallible. However, if I've come to the conclusion that this is right religion, if this is the true church, for example, right, if that's what we're talking about, then I have to come to the conclusion that they know better than I do. Right? I could be making a mistake, but I have come to the conclusion that they could not be making a mistake. I am leaning on somebody else's understanding. I'm leaning on something greater than myself. If I were to... now, that isn't to say that I know why it's true. And that isn't to say that I couldn't have doubts. And that isn't to say that I wouldn't be continuing to try and figure out how it could be true, or even trying to disprove it with an eye towards figuring out what's true. Whether that means testing counter-hypotheses and finding their faults. Or if that means trying to work through possibilities. But it ultimately it comes down to, in this case again, faith in what the church has to say, because it can't be that they're mistaken, particularly because I know I could be. Right, my reason could be faulty, and this is especially when I can't square something with right reason. Right, rather than if there were something that I had solid reasons to think were unreasonable. Right, if I were to think of there were some doctrine or some dogma, to go further, that I thought were explicitly contradictory, directly on its face, that would be far more difficult than here is a doctrine or a dogma that I can't explain or I can't justify. Right? But I don't have a specific, formal, logical refutation. Then I have to assume, again, if I'm to be honest with myself, religiously speaking, I have to assume that there is some explanation for it. There was a time I was at this point, basically what you described with respect to contraception, and I did not understand the doctrine and why it must be true that that artificial birth control is an intrinsic evil, that it is a kind of kind of undermining of the natural ends of the sexual act. Right? If one end of the act was still being pursued, why could another end not be avoided or not be neglected? But I still said, okay, church must be right about this. I think the church is right, so it must be right about this in particular. So by doing that, what that meant was it opened up my mind to the possibilities of what might be correct about it. And how to understand why it must be true. Talking about aliens, of course, can't stop doing that. Funny enough, 1 year ago was the first time I talked about baptizing aliens on stream. Talking about baptizing sorry babies, as it were, if my thumbnail is to be believed. But this is actually an interesting conundrum, right? Because the church at least sort of holds to monogenism, right? That there are no true men, in other words, rational animals bearing the image and likeness of God, who do not have their true descent from Adam. But that's only kind of true. Because the church also holds that God could have created other worlds. There's nothing theologically impossible with God creating multiple Earths. Presumably that would include worlds with life, because that was the context in the 13th century. A world, an Earth, is one like ours. It was not formless and void, it was with form. Filled, teeming with life, etc. Right? All of this is kind of wrapped into the concept. Now, it's a possibility that God created life elsewhere, but not sapient life. Not life bearing his image and likeness. Okay? That would solve the problem quickly and easily. However, it seems at least possible, it seems plausible to me, that God could have created other sapient life forms, basically aliens, intelligent extraterrestrials, in his image. That seems to contradict monogenism as put forward in Humani Generis, the papal encyclical where it outlines this. Now, it is worth noting that the proclamation in Humani Generis is not dogmatic. It is part of the ordinary magisterium at most. It is not infallible. It is not proclaimed as infallible. It is at most doctrinal, certainly not dogmatic. But that doesn't mean I want to just deny it. What I would say instead is, based on the wording and based on how this is explained, the wording says it is not in any way apparent how polygenism of any sort could be reconciled with the doctrine of original sin as understood by proceeding by natural generation from Adam, which is dogmatic. But that original sin originates from the sin of Adam, right, and proceeds through generation of the human species. Now, again, my expertise doesn't go far enough with this. Because I suspect there is a way that some form of polygenism, again, if we're careful about it and if we understand the doctrines fully enough, I think it probably could be reconciled in some way. It's just that at the time Humani Generis was written, there was no way that it could be reconciled given the reasoning of the time. And this was 20th century, early 20th century, 1830s, I think. I think it was Vatican. I think it was between the two Vatican councils. I think might have been Vatican I. However, at the same time, I don't know how it could be solved. I just think that it probably can be, because otherwise, this seems like a very close to a contradiction in doctrine. But I have to hold that no, it's not. It's not a contradiction, because either the condemnation of 1277 has to mean that sapient life does not exist elsewhere. It's not talking about sapient life. Or it must mean that there is some way of reconciling polygenism of at least some kind with the doctrine of original sin. And I think that's probably possible, and it has probably something to do with some other metaphysical means of propagation of original sin, maybe something like that. Again, I don't know the doctrines well enough at this point, right? This is down on my list of research topics of something that I am fascinated by, but don't have the expertise at the moment to settle theologically. I'm not a theologian by training per se. I've studied some theology, but I'm a philosopher by training. So I would need to lean into my own expertise for this, or rely on the expertise of others. It's a possibility as well. So anyway, this is kind of to explore your question a little bit, Kevin. I think that it really comes down to needing to trust that, yeah, no, the church is right. It's just figuring out how exactly. And if you can't figure out how, well, you have to understand that, well, it is. It's just I don't know how, and I don't know everything. Heaven asks, why would the location of the fallen earth negate that the effects not ripple through the creation at large? It certainly would. However, original sin per se, not talking about the fall, I'm talking about original sin. Right, the actual stain of original sin upon the souls of mankind speaking broadly, rational animals, sapient creatures in the image and likeness of God. Right? That original sin is propagated through natural generation from Adam. That would mean that the pseudo-doctrine of monogenism is that there are no true men that do not have that do not descend from Adam. And this is for reasons of the propagation of original sin. Now, you could be right, and I think I lean towards something like your suggestion here, that original sin elsewhere in the cosmos, if there is such a thing, would be a result of Adam's sin, whether it occurred after the sin of Adam or before, that shouldn't matter, again, causally speaking. That's another thing that that's a hobby horse of mine, that the fall of Adam was causally significant in every temporal direction, so to speak. That the fall of Adam affected all of creation. That means all of creation up until that point, as well as all of creation after that point. So there's that. That may be part of the solution if that is a plausible solution, which I don't know. Again, I don't know the doctrine well enough to say with certainty. Likewise, with propagation through more metaphysical means, damage to the human nature per se, rather than to the sort of This would imply a sort of Platonic realism in terms of universals, the form of the human being, the essence of the human being, rather than an Aristotelian realism where the essence of the human being is only exists insofar as it is instantiated. And it's also hard to, this might lead to, we should have caution about this view, because it could lead to something like a Calvinist doctrine of total depravity or of a fallen nature, rather than, right, so the human nature fundamentally changes, rather than us failing to fulfill that nature, which is the Catholic view, the proper view of original sin. So yeah, it's a complicated topic, I will say, and again, it's outside my expertise, unfortunately, even though it's well within my interests. It's something that I think needs to be explored, and no one else will do it. I'll explore it someday. It'll just be a while. How'd I do on an answer for that? That help? Meanwhile, I'm going to mention these. Picked up another box of cigarillos. Alta Gracia. Nice. They're very nice. They're Irish cigarillos. Little buggers. I recommend them. They're pretty nice. They're nice little things. From pipesandcigars.com. I've mentioned them before. Good little smokes. See, here's the thing. I'm not super into cigars. I'm more of a pipe smoker generally, but the little cigarillos are a nice little, I got 10 minutes walking to class or whatever, where, packing and lighting a pipe would be an inconvenience. Whereas one of those are nice and simple and short. And cigars give me the lightheadedness problem because there's you sit and you smoke a cigar for a few hours kind of thing. If you got a nice chunky one. So these don't quite have that to the same degree that pipe smoke doesn't so much, because of the way that it's cut and packed and all that. At least for me. Again, this is a subjective thing. So if you like the idea of smoking cigars, but you don't usually care for them, especially something like that, if that's one reason, these things are good. The little cigarillos. All right. Anyway, Kevin, so if you do have, if that's good enough, then great. If you have more to say, more to ask, feel free. Or if anybody else has, obviously. Don't think I'm just talking to Kevin here. So, you allowed Rendon Howe to imprison and torture innocents.
The Warden speaks truly. My son was taken under cover of night. The things done to him, some of them are beyond any healer's skill.
Howe was responsible for himself. He will answer to the Maker for any wrongs committed in this life, as must we all. But you know that. You were the one who murdered him. Whatever Howe may have done, he should have been brought before the Seneschal. There is no justice in butchering a man in his home.
No, then why did you send a blood mage to poison Arl Eamon?
I assure you, Warden, if I were going to send someone, it would be my own soldiers. I would not trust to the discretion of an apostate.
Indeed, my brother tells a very different tale. He says you snatched a blood mage from the Chantry's justice. Coincidence?
Do not think the Chantry will overlook this, Terran Logain. Interference in a Templar's sacred duties is an offense against the Maker.
Whatever I have done, I will answer for later. At the moment, however, I wish to know what this Warden has done with my daughter.
Kevin says, that is helpful. In particular, your general answer is akin to my own sentiments towards the question of divine decree, libertarian free will, as we discussed in the last stream. Good. What have I done? I've protected her from you. Always turn it around back on them. Always, which he's been doing expertly. Flip it around back at him. Don't go on the defensive.
You took my daughter, our queen, by force, killing her guards in the process. What arts have you employed to keep her? Does she even still live?
I believe I can speak for myself.
Yeah.
Lords and ladies of Ferelden, hear me. My father is no longer the man you know. This man is not the hero of Riverdane. This man turned his troops aside and refused to protect your king as he fought bravely against the Darkspawn. This man seized Kaelin's throne before his body was cold and locked me away so I could not reveal his treachery. I would have already been killed, if not for this Grey Warden.
The Queen speaks the truth.
So, the Warden's influence has poisoned even your mind, Denora. I wanted to protect you from this. My lords and ladies! Our land has been threatened before! It's been invaded and lost and won times beyond counting. We Fereldans have proven that we will never truly be conquered so long as we are united. We must not let ourselves be divided now. Stand with me, and we shall defeat even the Blight itself!
The Warden! I'm with the Warden. Southreach stands with the Grey Wardens.
Waking Sea stands with the Grey Warden.
Dragon's Peak supports the Warden! Western Hills is with you, Loghain. Make her help us.
I stand by Loghain. We've no hope of victory otherwise.
Nice voice
I
crack.
stand with the Warden. The Blight is coming. We need the Grey Wardens.
Wow, really? No, I'm not. No, not saying that. You can't make me say that. Landsmaid is against you, Loghain. Step. I would not do well at this. I would say, ha, you lose. Not gonna. The Landsmeet is against you, Loghain. Step down gracefully.
Traitors! Which of you stood against the Orlesian Emperor when his troops flattened your fields and raped your wives? You fought with us once, Eamon. You cared about this land once. Before you got too old and fat and content to even see what you risk. None of you deserve a say in what happens here. None of you have spilled blood for this land the way I have. How dare you judge me?
Call off your men and we'll settle this honorably.
Let us end this. I suppose we both knew it would come to this. When we first met at Ostagar, I would never have thought so, but Ostagar seems like it happened in another lifetime to someone else. A man is made by the quality of his enemies. Marek told me that once. I wonder if it's more a compliment to you or me. Enough! Let the Landsmeet declare the terms of the duel.
It shall be fought according to tradition. A test of arms, in single combat until one party yields. And we, who are assembled, will abide by the outcome.
Will you face me yourself, or have you a champion?
My Mabari will be my... No. I'm gonna try and do it myself. This is unwise. I probably shouldn't. I probably should let Alistair do it. But I'm gonna try and do it myself.
It is you or me the men will follow. So, let us fight for it. Prepare yourself.
Okay, here we go. Sorry. Really should have been a headphone warning there.
Is that all you've got?
What's happening here? No. Where the heck is he? Where'd he go? Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I got this. There we go.
Underestimated you, Warden. I thought you were like Kalen, a child wanting to play at war. I was wrong. There's a strength in you that I have not seen anywhere since Marek died. I yield.
Okay. So I agree with Erica that it would have been more fitting to have Alistair fight for the throne. But I can't resist dropping all 3 types of elemental storms of death in a duel, in a 1v1 duel like this. As Erica said, lol, can't even see him. Yeah, no, it is... I said this at the beginning. In Dragon Age Origins, mages are OP as hell. Mages are absolutely the correct choice for a class. Max says, wow, some of the spectators are frozen. Yeah, whoops. They'll live. It's okay. They don't have health bars. It's fine. Accept your surrender.
I didn't just hear you say that. You're going to let him live? After everything he's done? Kill him already!
Wait, there is another option. The Terran is a warrior and general of renown. Let him be of use. Let him go through the joining.
Want to make him a warden? Why?
There are 3 of us in all of Ferelden, and there are compelling reasons to have as many wardens on hand as possible to deal with the Archdemon.
The joining itself is often fatal, is it not? If he survives, you gain a general. If not, you have your revenge. Doesn't that satisfy you?
Absolutely not! Riordan, this man abandoned our brothers and then blamed us for the deed. He hunted us down like animals. He tortured you. How can we simply forget that?
Yeah, I think I kind of have to go with Alistair here. Erica says the only time that wizards are better than melee combatants in a melee fight. Yeah, when they can't get into melee with you because you're spamming magic at them. It's the whole linear warriors and quadratic wizards thing. Like early on, like early in their careers, or early level, I guess you could say, warriors way outclass wizards, way outclass spellcasters, and this game is no exception to that. But then once you get into the high levels and you can start throwing around massive balls of death like this, there's no contest. There's a point at which magic users wildly outstrip martial characters, martial combatants. And this happens in basically in damn near every RPG system. Like, I mean, if we want to go with Dungeons and Dragons, right? Early on, martial characters are pretty good. They're pretty good even for the first like 5 or 6, maybe 7 levels. But then once warriors start to get those 5th level spells that start being able to like shape reality, like reshape reality itself, it's a game over. Game over. Wizards start winning, like pretty hands down. Especially when you can start doing things like fly at will and stuff, like a lot of casters get. I mean, fly is just a 3rd level spell, 5th level. A 5th level wizard can just fly. Just rain death on Mr. Sword. What are you going to do? Take out your bow, I guess, but good luck, Mr. I put no points into dexterity. I'm just saying, like really, it's and even in like non-RPG fiction. Even non-RPG fiction, like A great example of this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you haven't seen it, then minor spoilers, I apologize. But you start off with Buffy being like the superhero of the show, like the one you need to beat. But then eventually, by the last maybe 3 seasons or so, everything is solved with magic. Everything is solved with magic. Whether it's Giles and his like magical rituals and protections and stuff, or whether it's Willow and her witchcraft and everything that comes along with that, like wildly outstrips anything that Buffy can do by punching something or stabbing it with a sword or a stake. Eventually magic just gets wildly overpowered compared to melee fighting, or any kind of martial fighting. Erica says, I think the only class that competes are rogues, but that's because their damage dice grows with their level. That's true. They can deal more damage, but they're far, far, far less versatile at incredibly high levels than most magic users. Right? Magic users don't just gain that increase in raw power and damage output. They gain the ability to do so many different things that can just stop a martial class right in their tracks. Even a rogue. And while you're right, single target damage output in 5th edition, like 5th edition D&D, if you want the highest single target damage output consistently throughout the course of a fight, you want a rogue. You probably want an assassin rogue. Maybe a swashbuckler, because there are more ways they can get their sneak attack off. Maybe a scout rogue, similar reasons, because of their range advantage and stuff like that. But if you want any kind of versatility in your destroy everything in the world type thing, wizard, man. It's all wizard. Bards are nice. Bards have some more versatility too, but wizards and clerics, wizards and clerics, certain clerics are unbeatable in combat. But yeah, I think all said, I have to side with Alistair here. No, Logain has to die for his crimes. Oh, Erica says, I mean, luckily rogue can be ranged as well. Hard to knock down a rogue due to hiding. It's very true. Yeah, they're hard to hit as well, which does help. Yeah, you want an assassin for the sweet 4 times auto crit at 17th level. Yeah, there is that. Like I said, single target damage output over time, you want the rogue. Assassins have less sustain though. They're more like paladins in that sense. They can alpha strike like crazy, but then they sort of fall into their rogue niche, which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like some of the other rogues can sneak attack more consistently, at least in some cases, that kind of thing. All right, Alistair, chop his head off.
You can't do this. My father may have been wrong, but he is still a hero to the people.
Honora, hush. It's over.
Stop treating me like a child. This is serious.
Daughters never grow up, Honora. They remain 6 years old with pigtails and skinned knees forever.
Father.
Just make it quick, Warden. I can face the Maker knowing that Ferelden is in your hands.
I'm not making Alistair kill him. I'm not letting Alistair kill him. Because Alistair will 100% do it. But then he's going to marry his daughter and rule with her on the throne? No. I do not want to start that off with that much resentment. I'm doing it. Very well. With what I assume to be Duncan's sword, appropriately.
So it is decided. Alistair will take his father's throne.
Wait, what? No. When did this get decided? Nobody's decided that. Have they?
Why are you like
so
this?
So much for our plan to rule together. If Alistair would rather not have the throne, I am more than willing to take it.
I hardly think you're the appropriate person to mediate this, Honora. Warden, will you help us?
Yes, I can settle this. Stop acting like children and marry each other already.
As the arbiter of this dispute, what is your decision? Who will lead Ferelden?
I believe Alistair and Honora plan to marry and rule jointly.
We do. I believe this is what King Merrick wanted. To see his blood tied to my father's to begin a new line of Ferelden kings.
But I did swear an oath. What I mean is, I'm all for founding a new line of kings. But, well, there's the Blight.
What the king is trying to say, my lords and ladies, is that he will be taking the field with his fellow Grey Warden to do battle with the archdemon.
Yes. That.
Until then, I shall stay in Denerim and rule in my husband's absence, as I did for Kaelin. But I trust Alistair shall reach a more heroic ending.
My fellow Grey Wardens will, I hope, take Loghain's place as the leader of my armies. Shall we finish this thing together?
Thank the Maker he has a Nora. I think I did the wrong thing by trying to console him when he met his sister, instead of just telling him to stop being a little bitch. Yep, Erica agrees. Good thing Honora is basically the head of the throne. Yeah, for sure. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. It's times like these when I think you're right, that Alistair is absolutely intolerable. There are other times when I kind of like him. This isn't one of them. Holy crap, this isn't one of them. Alright, we'll beat this blight as Kaelin dreamed.
Everyone, get ready to march. It's going to take all of Ferelden's strength to survive this blight. But we will face it, and we'll defeat it!
Ferelden is depending on you all.
Alright then. Yeah, it's times like these when Alistair is questionable.
You made me king. After all this is over with, they're actually going to put me on the throne. I'm going to be the king.
Yeah, Erica says this entire time he hasn't grown up. He's still a whiny little baby instead of manning up. I hate him. Yeah, so there's a thing. Okay, I need to explain. Hold on. Just like certain Andromeda characters. You're talking about Liam, aren't you? Liam is probably worse. And the reason I say Liam is probably worse is because Alistair can grow up. Liam, no. Liam is like this the whole time, no matter what you do. Alistair, I made a mistake. I did an oopsie. So you remember back when we went to meet with his sister, and tried to help her out, right? Option 4. Yes, I think I agree. Or, I don't know, 2 or 4. It's 2 or 4. Either pull yourself together or congratulations on your engagement, by the way. It's got to be one of those. We'll vote in the chat or something. Also, Liam. Yeah, you don't need to be nice to him anymore. Well, I mean, that's the thing. That is, I think, that is the problem, right? We were too nice to him. Dalen was way too nice to him. Back when we met his sister, that is where his character development can take two very divergent paths. You get softened or hardened Alistair. This is softened Alistair. Whoops. Hardened Alistair is when he recognizes and realizes that the world is hard, that the world is difficult, that the world isn't going to be nice to him, and that he has to deal with that. And you basically kick his ass into it, into realizing that no, the world isn't just going to hand him things, and he needs to accept, one, his responsibility, and two, the difficulties of the world around him. But the way of doing that is to basically say, well, screw your sister. She wants nothing to do with you. and that's okay. You just gotta live. You just gotta live with that. Basically, you gotta be mean to him. I oopsied on that. I was a little bit too nice. I thought I was saying the right things at the time, but I went back and looked at it, and I wasn't. There's something you have to be very, very specific in your meanness to Alistair to get him to actually man up to the point where he could be a competent king on his own. Under these circumstances, yeah, definitely the two of them should rule together. Hardened Alistair could definitely rule on his own, or if we're going with my canon version of human noble warden, then with the main character, the Grey Warden, as his queen, but only if Alistair's hardened, so to speak, not if he's like this, because oh my god, like this, he's such a bitch. Consensus seems to be 4, though. Anyway, I goofed, so sorry. There's actually a great podcast about this that talks about this, among other things. I've mentioned it before, called Split the Veil. It's a BioWare podcast. They talk about BioWare games for the most part, so like mostly Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I highly recommend them. It's a really good podcast. One of the recent ones is about being nice or being too nice. And one of the hosts is a psychotherapist, so she has a kind of expertise in this, talking about this issue in particular, about Alistair actually growing the hell up. All right, pull yourself together, will you?
Pull myself together? That's what you say to me? Do you have any idea what you've done to me?
Yes.
I've done nothing but regret my blood since the day I was born. I don't want this. I never wanted this. I hate the very idea of it. I thought we were friends. You knew how I felt about this, yet you went ahead and did it anyway. Why?
Because I enjoy torturing you. Oh my god, no! We are friends. This is a good thing.
A good thing? Are you serious? I've just never thought of myself as a leader. I'm going to make a terrible king, you have to know that. How can I make decisions that are going to affect the lives of everyone in the kingdom? I guess I don't really have a choice in this now, do I? I'll do my best, of course, and I expect that you'll be there to help me, right?
Oh god, Eric says, I would think after seeing everything that's happened with Loghain and the fact that he was told repeatedly that he was going to be forced into becoming king, he wouldn't act so surprised. One would think. But the immaturity of Alistair Merrick? No, Merrick was his grandfather. Forget what the surname is for the kingdom. Whatever. Alistair. His immaturity knows no bounds. Alright. Wouldn't have it. Yeah. You know what? Yes. He needs help. Dear Lord, does he need help? No. You won't need my help. There we go. Yes, we need to beat the crap out of this idiot. You won't need my help, Alistair.
You're the one who got me into this mess. And besides, where else would you go? We're a team.
And what about the Grey Wardens?
Well, that option isn't really open to me anymore, is it? I'm going to be king whether I like it or not. Grey Warden or no. And if I can be an exception, then so can you. As a matter of fact, I insist.
I think I could be convinced, particularly by the king. I'm not saying no to the king.
That's good enough for me. Arleman has left for Redcliffe. He says the army has gathered there and is almost ready to march. As soon as we're ready, we should head to Redcliffe ourselves. The blight awaits, right?
Okay. Alistair disapproves a lot. Who'd have thought, huh? Okay, I get a spell. No. No. Healing, no. No. Maybe. It's not bad. Should get glyphs. Hmm. You know what? I think I might just save my points. No, let's do this. Nah, let's actually save our points because there is I think a few gifts won't fix immediately. Yeah, because the warden is running away with Morrigan. Lol. I mean, yeah, not immediately though. Not immediately. Yeah, let's actually save our spell points because we're gonna use that later. There are additional specializations that open up later on in Awakening in the DLC. So we'll wait for that because some of those are really good. That's nice.
Sure.
Did you ever put strength into Zevran for that item you needed? No, not yet. Not yet. No, never mind.
Aye. All right then.
No, that's it. Okay. My life ward went away. Now if I die, I die. Alright, let's see how everyone's doing. Most notably Alistair and Morrigan. I think we need to go, honestly, like, we're just gonna need to go back to Redcliffe. I think that's the next real plot advancement, and I think we can just do it tonight. We should have time. Wait, where the heck's Alistair? He's just gone? Oh no, is he in Honora? No, this is Honora's room. Neither of them are here. Alright then. How's Morgan doing?
If one more servant asks if I would like a change of clothes, I will set the house on fire. Your desire?
Never mind. Nothing new. Alright. I don't think there's anything new with anybody, so yeah, let's just go to camp. Maybe? Yeah, camp. Level everyone up, and then go to, we need Sten.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually, we need to go to Lake Calenad is where we need to go. For Sten's sword. He really needs Constitution. Death blow. Heck yeah. Okay. Can't level up Zevran just yet. Soonish. Soonish. Yeah, I know. Erica says don't bother with Stanley, never comes back. I know, that's really disappointing. He really could have been significant in Dragon Age 2, but nothing. I'll still bother with him, I guess. I don't know. It would have been really good to come back in Dragon Age 2, I'm just saying. That would have been really good. It would have been really interesting. Alright, let's see. Maybe I'll ask around in the tavern. Or maybe not, who knows?
What are you
Welcome back to the Spoiled Princess. How may I serve you today?
Just looking around.
If there's anything I can get you, just let me know.
Well, okay.
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
How about you try at that? Love letter, huh? Alright,
You called.
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Never mind.
Well,
let's go.
As you wish.
Okay, never mind then, I guess.
Just take that duster out of here. I don't want to look at him.
What are you looking at? Can a man drink in peace?
Nothing here. Okay. Well, maybe not. Okay, maybe there isn't. Maybe the sword isn't around here, though. Hope I didn't, like, find it at some point and then sell it. Oh, there's a scavenger up there. I bet that's it. Let me do this. Hoist.
Back off! I was here first.
Haven't seen a sword lying around here, have you?
Why, you looking to buy one?
Only if it's a Kunari blade.
A Q what?
The giants you're pillaging.
Oh, them. To tell the truth, this place was mostly picked clean when I got here.
Oh, jeez.
I got part of a glove the wolves didn't chew too badly, though. I think it was a glove, anyway. I know, don't say it. I got cheated. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway.
Where is he now?
He was going to Orzammar, he said. I imagine he's
Really?
gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him.
Alright, might as well. To Orzammar! I really should have gone to Frostback Mountains in case he wasn't in Orzammar yet. Whatever, it's probably fine. I honestly don't remember. It's been a while since I've actually done this.
It's hard to believe we have a king again.
I suppose the answer.
Alright. Probably in the tavern. Either that or the Dust Town. That's it, Dust Town. Nevin? You might know someone.
Afternoon, stranger. You looking for a stool to share a brew?
Who are you?
Name's Naveen. I fight with Prince Balin's expeditionary field unit. Yourself?
Dalen, a Grey Warden.
Figured as much. Good folks, wardens. I was in the deep roads when that one came by. What was his name? Dukan, Dunka, something like that.
Close. You knew Duncan?
I met him, sure. Good man. Solid. He knows what we go through in the deep roads. Not many do. Not even the ones who live this close. You have to be on the front lines.
You work for Balin?
I go where I'm sent, fight when I'm there, and leave politics where it belongs.
Who's your unit fighting?
Darkspawn. Not much use in turning our weapons elsewhere while those vermin still live.
Fair enough. I should go.
Watch yourself. Orzammar politics are getting near as dangerous as battle.
Well, we solved that problem, I hope. Cora, who's that?
Orzammar may have a new king, but that don't keep the drunks from their ale. How can I help you?
Never mind.
Stone
Just
bless
leaving.
and all that.
Patrons. Reveler.
Raise a glass to our new king.
Patrons. No. Right. Dust Town it is, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't bother with Sten. Companions, Sword of the Barasad. Orzammar, likely is there now. Alright, let's try Dust Town. It would either be that or one of the shops, but I don't know.
You're back. You got more business for me?
Yeah, sure. It's not going to be here, I don't think, but you might have something. I also might be able to sell some things. Those. Actually kind of nice. Let's get rid of those. Buy that while we're here. No, okay. Nope, nope.
Yes? Why's someone like you hanging about Dust Town so much? Don't fall into the sky when you go back up there.
Okay, never mind.
So you're the one who killed Jarvia.
Yep.
You know what you've done? Jarvia was no paragon, but she looked after her own. Even the nobles wouldn't cross her. If you think we're gonna let you waltz around like you own the place, you're wrong. For Jarvia, attack!
Well, okay.
Going.
A bit of a waste of time. Suspicious door. Beggars.
What do you think of that new King Balin, huh?
Just like any other noble. Wouldn't take the time to spit on the likes of us.
His woman's castle, or was.
Kevin says, hypothetically, is it morally acceptable to just ignore a law on weaponry? Like, I know there's political philosophy, but does that action carry moral risk in some way? No. Primarily because it's malum prohibitum rather than malum in se. Right, so carrying a weapon without permission, let's say, from the state, is simply and straightforwardly exercising one's own right to property, and then under certain circumstances may even be a kind of moral requirement insofar as it is necessary for one's defense of self or others. And so, again, the conditions under which the state would disarm someone typically involve making them vulnerable to attack in a way that by itself, even ignoring property rights and such, in a way constitute aggression, or at least accessory to aggression, accessory after the fact, I think, technically, or something like that. And it would be essentially aiding and abetting whoever would seek to harm you. And so, yeah, I would say there aren't. I would say that the only moral problems might be with the possibility of getting caught, right? Which will, of course, bring up moral issues. Things like, well, what do you do then, right? There may be a moral hazard, let's say, where you either have to defend yourself, or you will imprudently incur legal penalty. So basically, it's do you give in to a threat that may significantly harm you? It's the same moral question.
Don't preserve King Balin.
No.
Goodbye.
Where is this guy? The Proving Grounds? I have 7 minutes. Someone look this up, please. Somebody look this up and tell me. I'm bored with trying to figure this out. Stan is my least favorite character in this game. Sorry. Erica's right. Someone look this up and tell me where to find this. I'm gonna try the Proving Grounds. That's my next best guess. So yeah, Kevin, what do you think? What do you think of that so far, at least? And then also, someone tell me where the heck to find Sten's sword. It's driving me insane. It says it's really hypothetically exacting to hypothetically ignore registration of certain tools.
Target now that you have been allowed to accompany us, I wonder.
You are. You will be watching me ever so closely
Exciting,
to make sure
not
I
exacting.
attempt no such thing.
And why would I do such a thing? Sneaking into our good graces in order to make another attempt is what I would do were I you.
And here I was becoming rather fond of the idea of you watching me closely.
It would be a simple enough matter to poison the food in camp, or cut our throats while we sleep.
You seem rather charmed by the idea.
It would seem an appropriate result of sparing your life.
Ah, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you then. The next time I am spared, I will be sure to immediately turn upon my benefactors. Will that do?
Oh no. I hope that's not foreshadowing for Dragon Age 2. Because you could interpret that as foreshadowing for Dragon Age 2. Oh, jeez. Purely hypothetical. Of course. Of course. All of this is only, we're talking about, regulations in the game, obviously, right? With respect to, the former Regent Loghain outlawing the Grey Wardens. Well, should we acquiesce or no? Well, obviously not. That's what we're talking about, clearly. Here, is this the guy? I think this is the guy.
The king just sent word. For my admirable taste in not supporting my cousin's rebellion, I won't be among those executed.
That's good. I mean, this guy.
No more matches until the new king decrees it.
No. Someone please look this up. This guy? Whoa, hello. Calm down, everyone. Was this the guy who stole the thing? Yeah, I did. He stole a volume from the Shaper. That's that guy. Okay. Alright. Gwydon? Who the hell was the guy?
I knew Balin would take.
Alright. Farin.
The crown.
Gwydon. Alright, let's go back to the other side. Jesus. Bit of censure.
All right.
Interesting. No. Miaja. Okay, well, not here. Oh my god. Someone please look this up for me. I have 3 minutes. I'd love to finish this tonight.
Huh.
Kevin says, yeah, my character has a stone thrower that he purchased in the Southern Kingdom, which is not known to the Fat King of the City of the Wind. Stone throwers must be talking about those siege weapons. That was some kind of a was a modded item, I think. I guess.
Why do you call yourselves crows? Crows are scavengers, not killers.
I heard that at one time they considered calling us the Kestrels, but you know, it didn't sing. It didn't dance.
I'm guessing you're right. We're not going to find this guy. Someone, I'm telling you, if somebody looks this up, either way, if we don't find him now, we'll start next time finding him, and then we'll just go to Radcliffe. That's it. Next time. You have 1 minute. If he's like right here, out in the open, somewhere in the Noble Quarter, which seems unlikely, then great. If not, my guess is he's above ground in the Frostback Mountains, which is probably where he is, and I'm an idiot. I don't want to go overly late tonight, so. If I go a minute or two over, it won't be a disaster, I mean, but if I happen across him like right now. But otherwise, looking like a what's this?
And I'm off.
Nice.
Supporters of disgraced Lord Harriman.
It's looking like a no. Looking like a big old no. Alright. Well, it's midnight. I can't find the bastard. So it looks like we're going to call it there. I apologize. I'll see if I can find where he is off stream maybe, and we'll just like start right there. So anyway, that's what we're doing next Thursday, I suppose. We're gonna start with that, and then we're on to Redcliffe to finish things. We might actually finish next week. I'm not sure. We may actually finish the main game next week. We'll see. If we do, great, and then we'll move right on to the DLCs. If not, then it'll be another 2 weeks, but we'll see anyway. Then we'll move on from there. Otherwise, join me again on Monday as well for more Nier Automata. That should be fun as well. We're, again, advancing through that main story pretty quickly, I think. Again, I don't have much of a perspective on how long it goes, but we'll see. In any case, thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye.